Hello and welcome to my review of the Orks Deff Dread. Now, I did do a review of the Deff Dread last year in October, but I thought I would do another review because he's included in the Combat Patrol. It's also October and his rules have changed slightly from 8th edition to 9th edition, so I'll just take this opportunity to do a review now. He is the only multi-part, multi-pose kit in this set, and individually he would normally cost you £32.50. Even though the kit came out in 2009, so we're looking at 12 years ago, it still has held up relatively well. It's 3 sprues and consists of 86 pieces. There's plenty of options for posability and customization, and it still holds up as a really nice model. So what we'll do is we'll have a closer look at this Deff Dread. We'll take a peek at all of the spare parts, of which there are plenty. We'll do some size comparisons, yes, even with an old metal Space Marine Dreadnought. I know you're excited about that. And then we'll go through all of his 9th edition rules. So let's have a closer look at this Deff Dread then. I have built my Deff Dread with dual custom Mega Blasters. I'll probably say it's better to build your own Deff Dread with a specific aim in mind, such as go for full close combat Dreadnought with the 4 claws, or have dual big shooters, or maybe even a Scorcher and a big shooter, or dual rockets. I would pick one that's just for one task. Mine's got some nice close combat abilities, and it's got some deadly high strength weaponry. I've gone for this loadout, this kind of face area, rather than the other one. I do actually prefer the other looking one. It's more reminiscent of the Killer cans, but you've got the same sort of icon banner, you've got the same exhausts. I say you've got the same arms, but you can choose to have different power claws there, and likewise you can swap those weapons about. It's just the attachments that you'd have to change. It is sort of possible to magnetize, but you'd have to magnetize in the weapon, and you'd have to leave a little bit of space to sort of slot them off. I guess you could cut where they attach and put a magnet, and then magnetize the weapons, but it is a bit tricky to do that, I'll tell you that right now, but it is possible. So they're the 2 massive engines and the fuel canister. I've always thought that the base should be a bit bigger, considering that this is the same size base as what the Killer cans are on, but there we go. Anyway, it's a fair amount of detail for something sort of 12 years ago, but yeah, so that's the Deff Dread. Let's have a look at these spare parts that I keep mentioning. They're in this baggie, so I'll pop those out and we'll have a little look at them. Yes, so you've got these spikes or claws that you can place anywhere really on the model. You've got the set only comes with 1 Scorcher, and I had actually cleaned this one up ready to put on. I think that would be a good call, just in case the vehicle is, just in case the Dreadnought is assaulted, then you've got some sort of overwatch protection from a horde with this Scorcher. Comes with 2 rocket launchers. They're both different than each other, so that's nice. And it comes with 2 big shooters. If I got another one, I'd probably go for the dual big shooters. And then you've got a couple more, like a buzz blade and a buzz blade with a claw on there too, and I use these in my close combat version. You've got this kind of pizza cutter claw, so 3 different claws there, and the 3rd and 4th arm. 1, 2. You've got this, which I'm thinking sort of symbol things, which do go over the shoulders. You've got these, which again you could technically magnetize and pop them in and out, and look, you can just put this in there, and then you can magnetize that and just have the rockets in and out. So yes, you can magnetize the ranged weapons. You've got different feet, you've got magazines for the big shooters, and you've got different armor paneling as well. And yeah, you've got this left over from the other variant. So there you go, that's all the spare parts. Decent number of spare parts that you could possibly use with other Ork vehicles. So you've seen the spare parts, let's look at the size comparison. So the first one I'd like to make is just with another Deff Dread. It sounds a bit odd, but I wanted to show you this because there's many differences, and it just highlights the you know, customization that you get with one of these multi-part, multi-pose kits. So this is my first ever Deff Dread that I built. I never was able to get one in metal all those years ago, but as you can see, they have a similar sort of gait, the way they're stud. You can't really do that much with that because, you know, both feet have to be on the floor. You get different options for the toes though. As you can see, you can go for a melee and a shooty Deff Dread on the right, or a full melee Deff Dread on the left. And then you've got the differences in the front face plates there. You can go for this one, or you can go for a full Orky type, or you can go for one with the tusks. The rear is going to be exactly the same for both of them. You can't put these exhausts in different areas. What I've done though is I have swapped the, I say shoulder pauldrons. I've just swapped them over so they look a little bit different. But there you go. That's the differences between a combat and a shooty version of Deff Dreads. So further size comparisons with a killer can. Now these killer cans are on the same size bases. They are operated by Gretchen and not by actual Ork boys, so that's the main difference. Their ballistic skill is better, I believe, and they're a little bit smaller, a little bit cuter. It's nice to have 6 of them in a unit stomping about. I think I've only got 4 because one's metal, but I'd love to get another set of 3 at some point to finish this sort of Walker force out, and that'd be great. Another comparison is with the new War Boss in Mega Armor that you get in the set. Just shows you how big he is. I mean, he's pretty much as big as a killer can, let's face it, you know. But yeah, that's where he stands next to a Deff Dread. Deff Dread is still going to be bigger than him, but it almost looks like the Deff Dread is a support for him. I want to compare his size to my knob, which is right here. You know, these mega knobs are quite chunky, but yeah, not nearly as chunky as the Deff Dread. And finally, last couple of comparisons will be with Ghazghkull. Yes, Ghazghkull is massive. Ghazghkull is probably same size, if not bigger, than an actual Deff Dread, which is, yeah, crazy. Compared to one of the old Ork boys, because I know I'll probably be asked this, and one of the new Ork boys, that's where it stands next to them. So it does tower above them, and if you had a couple of Deff Dreads, they're going to be some of the biggest things in your army, unless you have things like, you know, Squigosaurs. A few more size comparisons left. This is with a Space Marine Dreadnought. So this is a metal Space Marine Dreadnought, but the plastic one is a similar size. This is metal, so it weighs an absolute ton, and it's on a square base. But Deff Dreads, you know, even the metal ones were bigger than these boxy dreadnoughts, but it just goes to show you the sizes there that these Deff Dreads can get up to. But I thought I would show you a Space Marine Dreadnought compared to a Deff Dread. Obviously a Redemptor Dreadnought is going to be far bigger than even one of these Deff Dreads. The final size comparison will be just with my Imperium models, the other Imperium models. So we've got a normal Space Marine there, and I think he will go pretty much up to his chin. So you can imagine that grabbing a Space Marine and squishing him. Slime Marbo, almost up to the chin. So these Deff Dreads are pretty tall. And then a Primaris is head height for that. No, the Primaris easily is at his mouth, I'd say. But again, Deff Dread could grab Primaris probably, cut a limb off or whatever. or fire point blank with those weapons. But so my example is, even compared to Primaris, if you had a load of Hellblasters around it and things, you know, it's still going to look like quite a large unit. It's only when you get up to like Leviathan and Redemptor Dreadnoughts then does it start to look a bit smaller. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Orks Deff Dread. You will find him in the heavy support section of the Codex, swamped by lots and lots of other heavy support choices now. It's getting quite cozy in this section of the book. You've got everything from mech guns to the 3 variants of the battle wagons that contest with it. You've got killer cans, you've got the looters, you've now got the kill rigs and flash gits. So there's a bit of competition there, whether you're going to pick one of these. The old Space Marine Dreadnoughts used to be elite choices. So there you go, they are heavy support in this book. They will cost you a power points cost of a 6 and a points cost of 85 points. The custom Mega Blasters will cost you 10 points each. A Scorcher would cost you 5 and a Rocket Launcher would also cost you 10 points. So right there, that one is going to be costing you 105 points. The beauty about these Deff Dreads and actually the killer cans as well is that you can take them in, say, like squads really. Killer cans you can have 6 in a whole unit, and Deff Dreads you can have 3. So yes, I could put this Deff Dread with the other one and have one heavy support choice with them in a unit. What do you get for all of these points then? Well, their movement speed is 6 inches, weapon skill is 3+, ballistic skill is 5+, strength 5, toughness 7, 8 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7 and a save of 3+. Compared to the killer can, you know, a killer can has a worse weapon skill, but it does have a better ballistic skill. They have the same strength, but the killer can isn't as tough. It's only got a toughness of 5. It has less wounds. It's only got 5 wounds instead of 8. Has the same number of attacks, but a worse leadership, but the same save. So that's what you're getting with these killer cans and Deff Dreads is typically all right weapon skill and ballistic skill, a good toughness, a nice number of wounds, and a good save of 3+. If this unit contains 2 models, it has a power rating of 12. If this unit contains 3 models, it has a power rating of 18. Every model is equipped with 2 big shooters, 2 dread claws. So what do these dread claws do? Well, they work a little bit differently than the can claws in that they times the strength of the user by 2. Now, remember I've already said that the strength of these is 5, so you already have a strength of 10. So that means you're going to have a strength of 10. AP minus 3 and a damage of 3. Each time the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. So that's great. So you're going to be having the 4 attacks there. So you're going to be having 5 attacks with just 2 death claws, with just 2 dread claws. And the beauty about these dread claws, being a better version of the power claws, is that you don't have to remove any you don't have any modifiers that will affect its ability to hit. Big shooters work as usual. They're range 36 inch. They have the new DACA rule where it's DACA, where they get 5 shots at half range, 3 shots at full range, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. You can go for the rocket launcher, which is 24 inches, heavy D3, strength 8, AP minus 2, damage 3, blast. Or you can go for a Scorcher, which the kit only includes 1, which is a range of 12 inches, assault D6, strength 5, AP minus 1, damage 1, and the attack automatically hits the target. Or you can go for the custom Mega Blaster. Now I've got 2 of them on this one, and they are a range of 24 inches, assault D3, strength 8, AP minus 3, and a damage of D6. They are blast, but if you're going to get any hit rolls of a 1, then the bearer will suffer 1 mortal wound. War gear options. Any number of models can each have their big shooters replaced by one of the following: 1 Dreadclaw, 1 custom Mega Blaster, 1 rocket launcher, 1 Scorcher. Any number of models can each have their Dread Claws replaced with one of the following: 1 big shooter, 1 custom Mega Blaster, 1 rocket launcher, 1 Scorcher. So pretty much you can swap the big shooters with other range weapons or claws, or you can swap the claws with other ranged weapons. So yeah, that does mean that you can go for a full shooty Deff Dread if you wish, or like my other Deff Dread, a full close combat dreadnought. Abilities. Here we go. Ramshackle. Wah. Explodes. When this model is destroyed, roll 1d6. On a 6 it explodes and each unit within 3 inches suffers d3 mortal wounds. Dread Mob. After this unit is set up on the battlefield for the first time, if this unit has more than one model, all models in that unit must be set up within 6 inches of another model from this unit. After they are set up for the first time, each model is treated as a separate unit. That works exactly the same as other kind of mob rules where you have to deploy them at the same time within close proximity of each other. Keywords: Orks, Vehicle, Walkers, Deff Dreads. So there you go, that's my review of the Ork Deff Dread. As I said at the start, I thought I'd take this opportunity to review the Deff Dread again, being October and it being included in the Combat Patrol. Whenever I receive a model in a Combat Patrol that I already have and that I've done a review on, I'll always do another review on it because it comes in the Combat Patrol and it might have been months or probably years since the last time I reviewed it. I like the fact that you get a Deff Dread in the Combat Patrol. It's a strong unit to have in that set. Even after 12 years, it still holds its own, and I can't think of another model that I would have rather had in the set. And I definitely would have preferred it over a truck. But what do you guys think of the Deff Dread? Do you think it's time for Orks to bring out the Mega Dread in plastic? Forge World do a Mega Dread, and it's much bigger and beefier, something that will rival Primaris Redemptor. I think Orks do need to get bigger in that respect. I think Orks need to adapt and innovate, both in terms of their fights with the Tyranids and the new Primaris Marines. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. For Gork and Mork.